Hi, you're listening to Beyond Profits, a podcast by 117 Capital, where we explore the principles, ethics, and impact behind truly sustainable business. In a world driven by profit margins, we are shifting the conversation, diving into value-based leadership, non-interest finance, and the evolving role of ethical investing. Rooted in the spirit of Islamic finance, Beyond Profits is where ethics meets finance, where purpose meets performance, and where values drive ventures. Each episode, we engage with leading voices across various industries, discussing how non-interest finance principles and frameworks are reshaping sustainable business growth, empowering communities, and redefining wealth. Whether you are an entrepreneur, investor, or future leader, this space is for you. Because at 117 Capital, we believe that profits is just the beginning. The true measure of success lies in what we build beyond profits.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Beyond Profits 117 Capital Production. I'm your host for today, Banaga Muduri, and I'm here with Mr. Abiodun Aliyu Ababiaka, the Executive Director of Crown Takaful. Well, we're just going to have a little conversation about the insurance industry, especially the Islamic insurance industry in Nigeria, how that came about, and why it's important for all of us to be interested. Now, Mr. Abiodun has over 20 years of experience in the insurance and Takaful industry in Nigeria. He's an associate of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria and the Institute of Islamic Finance Professionals. And he's our very esteemed guest for today. So I think we can start the conversation if that's all right with you.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. So my first question for you is, tell me just briefly what Takaful is and what you do.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me. As you rightly introduced me, my name is Abiodun Aliyu Ababiaka, ED Operation of Crown Takaful Insurance Limited. Takaful can be described as a mutual agreement or cooperation among a group of people with the intention to assist one another in case any of the members of the group suffer loss. This is the primary objective of Takaful. It is about mutual support in case any of the members of the group suffer loss. And based on this primary objective, every member of the group or every person that came to Takaful pay a donation. This donation simply means to support one another. It's not like contract of purchase and sale. So when you are donating, you are not expecting anything in returns. When you donate, that donation is meant to support whoever among the group that suffer loss. So this is the basic concept behind Takaful.
So now let's get to understand how Takaful came about in Nigeria, or just in general. What is the problem with conventional insurance that necessitated the advent of Takaful?
Okay. For Takaful, Islam, Sharia does not have anything against making provision for risk. But what we are used to in Nigeria is conventional insurance prior to this period. And the elements that conventional insurance contains that Sharia does not agree with are: one, Gara, which is known as uncertainty. We have misery, gambling, and riba, interest. These are the key elements that Sharia does not support. Because when you talk of uncertainty or Gara, it brings about injustice. When you look at conventional insurance is contract of purchase and sales. When an insured pay a premium, policy document is given to him or her as the evidence of the contract based on the promise that the consideration known as premium paid will be redeemed subject to occurrence of certain events. However, if this event does not occur, nothing is payable.
Yes.
You can also look at it from this perspective. When the premium is paid under conventional, if there is no claim, that premium become an income to the insurance company. From that angle, it is not fair to the insured. However, if the insured has claim and the claim is being paid, if you look at the margin between the premium paid and the claims paid is so wide. So you can pay 1,000 naira, and when you have claim, the insurance company will pay you like 200,000. So if such claim occur, from that perspective too, it is not fair to the insurance company. That is why the scholars now look at it. What can we do that will bring about justification as it is supported by Islam and Sharia? That is what necessitated Takaful. Under Takaful, whatever is paid as contribution, under Takaful, the premium is referred to as contribution. Whatever is paid as contribution still belong to the participant. We call it insured participant under Takaful. So it still belongs to the participant. Takaful operator, like Crown, only manage the risk or the pool on behalf of the participant. And based on that, Takaful operator is entitled to a fee, which we call management fee or wakala, for providing that support. And that is the only legal fee Takaful operator is entitled to. So once a contribution is paid, Takaful operator takes or deducts its management fee, while the net contribution is now channeled into a common pool. So it is from that common pool that the claim that may occur within the year, the rate Takaful costs and the reserve will be paid from. So at the end of each year, this pool is appraised to determine whether it is profitable or otherwise. And how do we determine this? We look at the total contribution received on portfolio by portfolio. For example, motor is a portfolio, fire is a portfolio. We look at the total contribution received on motor, for example, vis-a-vis the claim that we pay in that particular year, the rate Takaful cost, and the reserve. If the total contribution outweighs these expenses, what is left is referred to as profit or surplus. And since we know that the pool belongs to the participant or customer, this surplus will be shared back to the customers or participants in proportion of what they pay as contribution. However, if claims with Takaful and the reserve outweigh the contribution, in that scenario or in that case, we have deficit. And when there is deficit, nothing is payable as surplus. And how do we manage this kind of scenario or case? We have right to take what you called as an or non-interest loan from shareholders' account to make up for the deficit in that particular year. So the following year, if we are able to generate or make profits, then the non-interest loan taken from the shareholders' fund is returned to the shareholders' fund.
So there are two main structures in the Takaful, right? The general and the family Takaful. So can you walk us through that, please?
Yes. Takaful is divided into two. We have family Takaful, we have general Takaful. Family Takaful provide cover in respect of death or disability, which can be qualified as it provides security and it also provides investment opportunity. Security in the sense that in the event of death, whoever that key into this family Takaful, in the event of death, whatever he or she propose to have in a particular year, it becomes payable to his beneficiary. That is the security aspect of it. The investment aspect of it comes under individual family, whereby participants contribute a certain sum. It could be monthly, it can be quarterly, it can be annually for a certain period of time. And at the end of the period, if the participant survives that period, what he has contributed, less our own management fee, plus investment return becomes payable to that participant at the time of death or disability. At the maturity date, the total sum that must have contributed over the period of Takaful, less our management fee or wakala, plus investment return becomes payable at the maturity date. However, if the participant dies while the policy is still running, what he has contributed plus the outstanding contribution becomes payable at the date of death. The essence of this is whatever the participant desire to achieve, whether it's alive or not, Takaful will assist such participant to achieve that. Then the second one is general Takaful. General Takaful provide covers in respect of assets. For example, motor, property, money. General Takaful provide cover in respect of all these assets. So that's the difference between the two.
Okay. So you mentioned something, you mentioned the investment returns. So essentially, every donation or contribution that the insured participant provides on a periodic basis, what you do with those funds while they are not in use is you reinvest them into um, some securities also.
Yes, when we receive contribution, we don't just keep them in the office or just keep them in the bank. We have right to invest the contribution in halal investments.
Okay.
We can go into buying and selling. We are allowed to buy properties and we sell in order to generate profit for the participants. And the profit that is generated will also be shared in an agreed proportion. So that comes under Mudaraba. All this will have been stated at the inception of the policy.
Are there any exclusions to what you can invest in?
Yes, definitely. That's why I qualify it by saying halal investments.
Okay.
We cannot invest in alcohol organization. We cannot invest in an organization that deals in a pork,
Right.
gambling. All these kind of investment are not allowed under Takaful.
Okay. So can you please tell me about now that we have a good understanding of what Takaful is and the basis of it, can you tell me about how it came about in Nigeria? Because I know it's been around for a very long time around the world, but it's relatively new in Nigeria. So can you talk me through that? Since you have 20 years of experience.
Yes. Yeah, Takaful came into Nigeria in the year 2005.
2005.
Yes, by Africa Alliance Insurance Company. It's a life specialist. But when they started at a window and they were also operating as a specialist Takaful operator. They were only into family.
Okay.
They were not composite insurance company. So if you look at 2005 and 2025, this is like 20 years.
Right.
So to me, that is no longer relatively new. But perhaps because they were operating as a window, we did not have full-fledged Takaful operator until year 2017. That was when full-fledged Takaful operator came into being. So we can actually say proper Takaful commenced in Nigeria in the year 2016. And based on that, I can accept with your word, relatively new in Nigeria compared to other countries. And since the beginning of the full-fledged Takaful in Nigeria, we've really seen the impact of Takaful in Nigeria because there is now increase in awareness. People are beginning to have better understanding of what Takaful is all about. And already some people are moving from conventional that we are used to in Nigeria to Takaful.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. So, are there any specific sectors or communities that show strong demand for Takaful?
Yes, for now, I will say number one is Islamic banks.
Islamic banks. So they've
Yes,
shown strong support.
strong support.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Good.
Islamic bank, they really show strong support. And that is why you have number of organization planning to come into Takaful space, because I'm aware that about 2 or 3 companies, they have their application before NICOM to also start Takaful. Because at the moment we have about 5 Takaful operators, full-fledged Takaful operators in Nigeria, and I believe as time goes by, we keep increasing, and the awareness will also keep increasing. As long as we have this awareness, Takaful will become more profitable. It will become household name in Nigeria. But the operators, we need to do more than what we are doing at the moment.
So aside from the operators, because it's one thing to talk about the operators and the demand, and it's another thing to talk about the regulators. So what can you say that the regulators like NICOM or PENCOM have done to support the Takaful in Nigeria?
Yes, I can only speak for NICOM.
Okay.
Because NICOM is the regulator that regulates Takaful and insurance as a whole.
Okay.
I would say for now, NICOM, they are trying their best,
Okay.
but they need to do more. By they'll be able to provide us with guidelines, and on periodical basis, they review this guideline and guide the operators on what to do and what not to do. But I believe they still need to do more in the area of when you submit approval, maybe for new products, they need to try as much as possible to speed up the process of approval. If they can do that, I believe it will also help the operator, and they should also try as much as possible to create a level playing field. Whether you are Takaful or your conventional insurance, we should have level playing field so that everybody can operate in the market. Because at the moment, I can tell you there are some policies that we are not allowed to go into as Takaful operator.
Really?
Yes, like aviation, Takaful, we are not allowed to do that. We are not allowed to transact oil and gas.
Wow.
And we believe that because as I did before yesterday, the president signed new insurance acts, which we ensure that all the insurance companies or Takaful, we have their paid-up capital increase upward. So we believe that by the time Takaful operator, we are able to increase our paid-up capital, they will allow us to go into other areas.
Okay. Right. That's actually, it's very concerning that a large industry like oil and gas, you're not allowed to invest in. That's quite unfortunate, really.
Yes, that's what we have at the moment.
So, following along that conversation, let's talk about the challenges and myths. So, what challenges do you go through aside just the regulators, but in the markets right now, and also some misconceptions that people might have about Takaful? Maybe you can just speak to that.
Yes, I think the first challenge I will talk about is the operators, Takaful operators in Nigeria. We are still competing. We are not collaborating. And because we are competing, we do not have the best of results. If we are able to contribute, we will be able to achieve more together. For example, now, Islamic banks, ordinarily, there is nowhere they will take their risk to. If we all agree that this class of business will be accepted as social rates, this class of business will not go below this. If you can all collaborate and say, okay, this is how we'll be doing our business, and can tell you we'll be able to achieve more. The second challenge is awareness.
Yeah, definitely.
I can tell you that large number of populace in Nigeria, they are not yet aware of Takaful. At times when you talk to some people, they will tell you, is it not the same thing? Insurance, Takaful is the same thing. But because they do not have that understanding of the operation of Takaful, they still view us or they see us and one are the same. So as an operator, we need to come together, see how we can create more awareness about what we do, because what we have is gold, but it is wrapped in a paper. And if we don't unveil that, there is no way people will appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So these are the challenges that I see in this our industry.
That's very true. You're all stronger together, always. So, just a myth that some people might think of, just a misconception that people might have that Takaful is just for Muslims. What can you say about that?
Yes. Some people too, they do have such misconception that Takaful is for Muslim. And whenever we have opportunity to meet people, to have presentation, we always make them to understand that Takaful is not only for Muslim, it's about value addition. Under conventional, when you pay your premium, if you do not have claim, right from day one, your premium become an income to the insurance company. Under Takaful, when you pay your contribution, if you do not have claim and at the end of the year, the portfolio is profitable, you stand a chance of getting something back in form of surplus. This is what is not obtainable under conventional.
Right.
So that's why we need to keep on creating that awareness, because if they don't know, they will see us as one and the same. So, and Takaful is about value addition, but it's not about religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, how do we address this concern? How do we mediate or mitigate this myth that people have, this misunderstanding that people have?
Yes, that's why I said we need to collaborate. We need to talk to people more about Takaful so that they will have understanding of what Takaful is all about. It's about education. You cannot give what you don't have. If they don't understand what we are doing, they will just assume and they will go along with that assumption as long as they live. So we need to reach out to people through media, any form of media that we can lay our hand off. And I think this should not be done on individual basis. That is, individual Takaful operators should handle this. All the Takaful operators should come together, bring your phone together, let's advertise all the gray area, let's inform people about it so that they have better understanding about what we do. Once we are able to do that, I can tell you for free that Takaful will really go a long way. It will not take a time that Takaful will even take over from conventional insurance.
Wow, inshallah. So now speaking directly to our viewers, who should be interested in Takaful right now? Is there a specific age or background or anything, maybe industry that a person is in? Who should be looking for Takaful right now?
Yeah, I must say Takaful is for everyone, as long as you have the contractual capacity, because in life, everyone faces risk.
Absolutely.
Moving from my office to this place is a risk.
Yes.
Staying in this building is a risk because there can be fire occurrence. So as long as we face risk on a daily basis, we should think of Takaful. And even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said in the Quran that we will test you with fear, such as hunger, loss of life, loss of profits, loss of fund. If this occur, what do you have? That is why we need to make provision for unexpected. So Takaful is available to all. We should think of Takaful as long as we face risk on daily basis.
Yeah, that's very true. So that's on an individual basis. But do you have any corporate Takaful plans or products for, just businesses?
Yes, definitely we have a product for corporate. In fact, if I'm to compare our clientele base at the moment, I will tell you that we have more corporate clients than individual. Why? Because Takaful or insurance has always been part of financial planning of corporate organization.
That's good.
So I believe with that, because of that, that's why we have more of corporate organization as our clients. Then there are some policies that have been made compulsory by law. For example, under convention it is called Group Life Assurance, while under Takaful it is called Group Family Takaful Plan. It has been made compulsory by law under Pension Act 2004, which was revised as 2014. It made it compulsory for every employer that has minimum of 3 employees to have this policy in place for the benefit of the employee in case any of the employee dies while in still active service of that employer, so that the family will not be running enter-scatter on how to get fund. Whatever is the sum cover that is placed on the life of individual employee, it becomes payable at the time of death to the estate of the deceased. And according to the law, the benefit is a multiple of minimum of 3 times total annual emolument of an employee. For example, someone that has total annual emolument of 1 million, the sum cover or the benefit of that person's life minimum should not be less than 3 million.
Wow.
So based on that 3 million, we now give them quotes on what to pay on that life. So while the policy is running, if that particular customer or employee dies, the sum of 3 million becomes payable to his or her next of kin. We also have some policies that are also compulsory. We have what you call fidelity guarantee. This is compulsory for banks, and they've been effecting that. They also have money Takaful, which is also compulsory for banks. So we have number of policies that are compulsory that people have been keen to. We also have motto that is compulsory for both corporate and individuals. As long as we have your vehicle on the road, you must have motto Takaful in place.
Right. Right. So thank you so much. For anyone listening right now, what's the first step to take if you want to seek the Takaful service?
Yes. For Takaful, what we try to do is the first document that we give out to clients is what we call non-disclosure. What we call is a declaration document. This document contains key features of every policy. So we give it to you after we must have made presentation to you. So now give it to you to go through it for better understanding. Once you understand it and you feel that this is what you desire, this is what you want to key it to. So the first document that will be given to proposal or prospect is called proposal form. So this proposal form contains personal questions that relate to risk that is being proposed for Takaful. So once this proposal is filled and returned to us, we'll be able to quote or advise the customer or the prospect on the contribution to be paid. Once the contribution is paid and after the analysis of the proposal form, we advise the prospect on the contribution. Once the contribution is paid, the next thing is to issue what you call policy document. Policy document is the evidence of the contract between the participants and the operator that contain all the terms and conditions of the contract.
Okay. Thank you so much. So that just goes to show that you need to key into Takaful, especially, and we need to have more conversations about Takaful in mass media in the country. And why especially we need to look at Crown Takaful. Is there any special reason that does it stand out in the industry?
Yes, Crown Takaful is the newest Takaful in the country.
Okay.
Because we commenced operation last year, to be precise, 29 January 2024. And for some of the employees, we had worked in other insurance company, Takaful operators companies, and we've realized the challenges they face. So we've taken all this into consideration to better the service we render to the public. For example, now when we have claim and all the necessary documents has been supplied to us, and we issue what we call discharge voucher. We pay claim within 24 hours.
Wow.
Because we know that that is a challenge in the industry, whereby client will have claim, the claim will linger for a number of months or weeks. Such client will not be encouraged to come back. But at Crown Takaful, once we have claim and all the necessary documents that have been submitted to us, we issue the discharge voucher, we pay claim within 24 hours. And this has really been working for us, and the number of clients can actually testify to this.
Oh.
So when you think of Takaful, think of Crown Takaful.
Yeah, exactly. Don't walk, run to Crown Takaful today.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure.